We have new details tonight on two Providence firefighters accused of trying to sell drugs.
And News Sense Noon, Providence's public safety commissioner talked about the charges against the two men who went before a judge this morning. Eyewitness News reporter Jared Pliner has been working this story all day long. He joins us now live from the Providence Mobile Newsroom with more on what he's learned. Jared?
Well, Mike Shannon, on top of the criminal case, these firefighters are suspended without pay. They also face internal proceedings against him today. Providence's top public safety official said it is a very sad day for the departments.
With the intent.
Two Providence firefighters in very serious trouble on the eve of Thanksgiving.
Drug selling and distribution and weapons as well.
25-year-old Richard Jimenez and 24-year-old Joshua Brown arraigned on several felonies after their Tuesday arrests. Public Safety Commissioner Stephen Perry says the police department's narcotics unit had been watching this triple-decker 380 Orm Street for weeks. Only days ago did they discover there was a firefighter connection. Perry says police seized over 4 pounds of marijuana and 8 handguns between Jimenez and Brown and their second and third floor units. Detectives also recovered scales and cash. We asked about any suspected drugs at work.
No evidence that these two firefighters were either impaired on the job, and there's clearly no evidence that there was any drug dealing
involving other members of the department while on the clock. Perry tells us Jimenez and Brown became city firefighters in 2013. Both passed criminal background checks and performed their duties adequately. We went to two other addresses the firefighters listed as their own. No one answered at one. A man at the other said he had no comment. Perry says these junior firefighters have dishonored the profession.
Why people think they can get away with or take advantage of, I wish I had a solution, because those people don't belong in public safety.
And Perry tells us the August case of a Providence firefighter arrested in East Providence on drug charges is not connected to the case at present. Coming up new at 6 o'clock, Commissioner Perry really opens up about the notion of the public trust and whether he thought that there are others in the department, or he thinks indeed others in the department knew about what was going on. He answers on that one. We'll see you next hour. For now, live outside District Court tonight with the Providence Mobile Newsroom, I'm Jared Pliner, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Jared. New at 5, we've learned of another issue with a Providence firefighter. Commissioner Perry tells us they're investigating whether a firefighter was under the influence while on the job last night. Perry wouldn't name that firefighter, but says it is unrelated to the arrest we just told you about.
Thank you, Madeline. Right now, two Providence firefighters are off the job, suspended without pay, hours after being arrested on drug and gun charges. And new at 6 tonight, the public safety commissioner weighs in, including his thoughts on whether other firefighters knew about what was going on or not. Eyewitness News reporter Jared Pliner joins us now live from Providence with those details. Jared?
Mike, that's right. These two firefighters also held without bail tonight, so they'll be spending their Thanksgiving in the ACI. The city's top public safety official says this alleged contradiction is hard to understand, and it certainly undermines the public's trust.
It's painful.
Providence Public Safety Commissioner Stephen Perry on two city firefighters accused of drug dealing and said to have had a cache of guns.
They tarnished the badge in which they've sworn to uphold.
25-year-old Richard Jimenez and 24-year-old Joshua Brown arraigned Wednesday. Perry says police seized over 4 pounds of marijuana, scales, and cash from them, including from 2 units in this Orm Street triple-decker. Narcotics officers had been watching it for weeks. In an agency that fights daily against drugs and guns, I asked Perry about the possibility insiders were undercutting that effort.
8 guns in those apartments. I mean, those are the guns that we face out in the street.
Is there a belief other firefighters knew of what was allegedly going on? Perry says no.
The vast majority of the men and women that serve in this fire department wouldn't tolerate and would bring forward that kind of information.
A career lawman with this case now on his desk.
They have a great both career and job in the Providence Fire Department, and why they cross the line in drug dealing, it's befuddling.
Both firefighters came on in the year 2013, so they are junior firefighters, and Perry tells us criminal background checks done back then show they had no criminal history. They have also not received any internal discipline in those 3 years. For now, live with the Providence Mobile Newsroom, I'm Jared Pliner, Eyewitness News.